there, welcome to Legabant. I am Okoyemi. If this is your first time seeing us on this platform, it's good to see you too. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much. You know how we do on this podcast, we bring lawyers, we bring non-lawyers to tell us what their opinion is and what the position of the law is on a particular legal topic in the simplest way that you can understand it. On today's episode, I have Mario and I have Kemi, and together we are going to be talking about personal injury. So, let me just say what personal injury is. Personal injury is just simply injury that is inflicted on a person or maybe on you, either intentionally, unintentionally, and it led to damages to your physical body, and it can also be emotionally. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about what the law says about this and how you can seek redress. So, Kemi, tell me, what do you think about personal injury?
Okay, so personal injury, like you mentioned, is personal. It happens to you.
Yeah.
And then I feel like a lot of Nigerians, or if not every Nigerians, have experienced this in one way or the other, either in their workplace or in their interaction with their neighbors, in their family, in their businesses, and yet they don't seem to have the understanding of how they should go about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was this tweet I read, I think last week or so, of this keke napep driver that was killed together with his passengers. Inside the keke was two children, the mother of the children, and then what you would ask that what actually caused the accident. It was a policeman and a bus driver struggling with the gear, and then they hit the keke and eventually they died. So now you would if you check, if you actually go back and do a follow up of the story, I won't be surprised that nothing was done to them. There was no compensation whatsoever. And this is not just about accident alone. Even in work, people get sacked for no just reason, whether with no compensation. And it happens. A lot of people, if you go out there and ask people, everybody has one experience or something to say about it. And yes, we don't know how to do about it or what they should do about it.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Mario, what do you...
I guess the reason why people don't even pursue the legal part of it is that the personal injury is not really a common thing in our legal system in Nigeria. You have the right. If you've suffered any damage, you can go to court. The court is open for you. You can go to court for injury claims. An injury claim is where you go to the court, you tell the court what happened, and the court will compensate you. You ask for damages and compensation, and the court will compensate you for that. So, but the damage is a special damage. You need to prove to the court that, okay, I suffered damage, okay, my car got broken, my teeth got broken, my leg got broken, my neck got broken, my employer slapped me and all that. So you have to establish the fact that you actually suffered injury.
Yeah.
Okay, so how would you say that somebody who is a layman like myself, how would you think the person can go about it? Let me share this experience of a friend of mine that she was working in a school, in a secondary school, and then she eventually got admission. She was doing the job in the time she would go to the university, she would resume school, and then eventually she got the admission and she had to leave, and the employer didn't pay her. And then, although the money might look small, but it's alright. She's supposed to get paid for the job.
Okay, that falls under employer and employee, not necessarily personal damage. Not necessarily personal damage. The instances where an employee can probably take the employer to court for personal damages, probably in your office. Some things that ought to be in place, maybe the ties that they did not use the good ties and you fell down, and you've been complaining, and it's so obvious that this thing is not good.
Yes.
The company or the organization should have done something about it, and they refuse to do anything about it. Probably you fell and your teeth got broken. You can sue them. You can sue your organization for that.
So what Mario is saying now, if you remember the case of that medical doctor that was doing, is there a smash ship at
Elevator.
yeah, the elevator just crashed, and they said they've been complaining about that elevator for like the longest time, and they didn't do anything about it because the people in charge, they probably squandered the money everybody just kept ignoring it until someone actually fell victim.
Right.
So
And
our
you,
family could take that up and
yes,
yes
yes,
and go to court
yeah,
for compensation and damage
yeah.
for the loss, but it's painful.
but why that
It
people
is.
feel reluctant to take up charges against incident like that?
Well, I'd say it's because most people don't actually know, and this is
Mm-hmm.
why
Why?
we do programs like
Yes.
this to, enlighten the society. So I would say personal injury, it can be medical negligence, it
Yes.
can be it can be a work, related situation as she has mentioned, and then it can also be,
Accidents.
when you buy products,
Yes.
Yeah,
and it can
that's
also
true.
be accidents. Now, I'll start from what everybody should know at first is that if you are if you own a company, if you are producing goods or whatever it is, you should know that you own a duty of care to your neighbor. And who is your neighbor? Your neighbor is simply anybody that's coming to patronize you, anybody that can actually fall victim of whatever damage that you can foresee that this thing will happen. For example, that elevator situation, they can foresee that one day this thing is going to drop,
Yes.
but they just didn't know
They
that
kept quiet
someone is
about
going to
it.
be there.
At
That
that
the day
time.
that thing is going to happen. So any damage that you can foresee that can happen to anybody, you own that duty of care to ensure that it does not happen to that person. So if you decide to go ahead and breach that duty of care and that person suffers damages, they have a right to seek compensation. That is
Yes.
if they
Yes.
don't even die in the process, right?
Yes. And there are some instances where you might not even want to go to court. You might want to settle out of court
Yes.
because the court will
Okay.
definitely the court encourages settlement outside
Yes.
court
Yes.
mediation. Probably if the person is willing to foot the bill,
Yes.
you get the person should be able to, okay, you caused this person this accident, you should claim all the money you spent. Okay, you don't want me to go to school to court rather because people are scared. Nigerians are scared of court, and Nigeria believes that we're going to spend forever in court.
Yeah.
So but you could mediate, you could settle out of court
Yeah.
if the party is willing enough for you for
to,
you.
to have settlement, right? But one
Yes.
thing with settlement is that, for example, there are some people that have done something that's very bad and they know it's bad. She gets.
Yes.
But because they don't want to give you that proper compensation, the victim wants to pay you off. Like, for example, let's say you work
buy
for
you.
Coca-Cola, right? And then as a staff, they were negligent and something happened to you. And you're like, oh my God, this has happened. So before you quickly go and meet your lawyer and you are trying to fight for your right, they're like, please just collect 50,000 naira and shut up. Because on a norm, if you should want to fight for your rights, you should be entitled to like maybe 5 million naira, and all that. So sometimes some of these people who have been negligent, intentionally negligent, they might just want to quickly
Buy you out,
just
yeah.
buy you out and
Okay.
just should just so that you just
And
keep
one more
quiet.
thing, if you want to public claim injury claims, you need a lawyer to help
Yes.
you facilitate
Yes.
it, to help you to know the proper law, what to, even if you want to draft an agreement
Yes.
with the person, and even if you want to go to court, so that they will not shortchange you. They
That's
might
it.
want to give you 5,000 naira for something that is 200,000, and because you don't have anybody,
Yeah,
and let me
that's
collect it like that. And people that suffer most of these laborers that works for building construction.
Yeah, I was going to say that
And-
how do they access legal representation?
you
Because
can
for
So
someone-
you can have your personal lawyer, right? So let's say
No, she mentioned an example of those people those laborers that work in a site and then
so an average Nigeria, for example, now you are working on a construction site. Then, as a result of negligence, something fell on you, something that could actually have been avoided, right? So you don't have to be afraid that you don't have the money to get a lawyer. There are
Yes.
lawyers that you don't have to pay them money,
at the beginning.
they're
So
even interested
they are
in the
just
matter.
interested
They
in
have
fighting for
compassion.
your right.
Yes, that
So
you
you
can.
don't sleep on your right and keep quiet because
Yes.
you feel you don't have the money to get a lawyer. Before they even start paying you off with money to keep your mouth shut, it's better you speak to your lawyer because your lawyer will be able to weigh the situation to know what you actually deserve.
Best decision.
What you should be compensated. They would know how to investigate it. They will know how to gather the evidence, and all sorts. But in a situation where the person who has
The
been
victim,
negligent,
yeah.
no, the person who has been negligent is willing to give reasonable compensation,
Yes.
why not?
Right.
Why not? You can take it, but not when the compensation is like is way too
Well,
low.
really,
Peanuts
how
than
do you
what
get to
deserve.
measure the compensation?
Depends on
So,
your
for
case.
instance, like the example I gave earlier about the tweet I read, where the passenger died, the keke napep. What kind of compensation do you think those family members would have requested for?
So
Because I don't think money is equivalent to human life.
No.
Yes,
You can
it's
never
not actually, but it's probably going to help the family. So to say, there's no amount of money you can give to somebody to quantify the
like
loss.
yeah.
But like 15 million naira should 20 million naira should help the family, but it's still not enough. But
Can't be like
it can be. But the fact that there are some people, they won't even give you anything.
they'll just run away, right?
Eat
But-
and run.
Mm-hmm.
They won't
on,
give you
on,
anything.
on what she has said, right? Your question is now based on a negligence that happened as a result of car accident or something. In that kind of situation, first off, if we actually have obedient citizens and a working system, every car owner should have an insurance.
Yeah, I was
I
going
was
to
going
going
to
to
talk
talk about
about that.
insurance.
Yes, you should have
Yes.
insurance.
I was going to
You
talk
should
about
be
it.
under one insurance policy or the other because it is even mandatory. The Insurance Act has made it mandatory that every car owner, every vehicle owner should get insured. And the funny thing with it is as little as 5,000 naira per year. Yeah, you can actually be under an insurance umbrella. So in that kind of situation, and the punishment for not being insured, if you are watching this video and you are guilty of this, it's 250,000 naira fine or 6 months imprisonment.
Wow.
You don't want to do that, right? So in that kind of situation, if accidentally you hit someone or something happens like that, your insurance company should
Should
cover
be able
up for
to
it.
cater for it.
And in such situations, such victims are entitled to like a million naira compensation, right? But in cases of death, you can't really quantify it. You can't say this is the specific amount. Do you understand? So
So you say for that instant, the family had the liberty to request for any amount.
well, I think that will actually be on the discretion of the court. Or what do you think?
Yes. The court will determine what is reasonable. The court's duty to determine, okay, 20 million naira is reasonable, 2 million naira is reasonable. So it's I think we should talk about medical malpractice too. How people
It's
how
common.
it's
It's
common
very common.
in Nigeria. It's very very common.
See,
very common.
I remembered one time when I was sick and I was far away from home, right? And they took me to the health center. And this doctor that was there is a copper doctor. And this guy wanted to give me drip. See, he punctured holes in 6 different places in my body and it was swelling up.
I guess he was using your body for practical. Sorry about that.
It was swelling up and it was painful. I was groaning, I was crying, I was screaming. And it was like, you're making me feel bad. Why are you crying? Why are you screaming? I'm like, it's painful. You don't know where to put this thing. Just leave me alone. I said, I can't see your vein. Let me try. The place to swell up again.
Probably
I'll scream until the chief doctor or the expert came in and was like,
What are you doing?
just at once.
Imagine.
When you look at Mohbad's case, the guy, according to the news we had, we were told that the nurse probably gave him the wrong injection and something like that. So the family could probably, I don't know what is going to happen.
Okay, so on medical negligence, right? Just like we have our professional conduct, our ethics in the legal profession, they also have theirs, and it's actually like an offense for a medical doctor not to do the rightful thing. For example, if a patient is admitted and you're like, you can't take care of that patient, or you are giving you are not doing what you're supposed to do. Maybe a patient needs to be transferred to another hospital, but you have just neglected the patient there. Most times when some medical doctors are insisting on payments before, well, I wouldn't really blame them
because
right?
they need money to run the facility too.
So let me just come back to what I was saying. Also in the medical line, just like I had mentioned earlier, that there's a duty of care to your neighbor. Every doctor has that duty of care to their patients too. You have to ensure that if you can foresee evil, you can foresee anything that, and if this thing happen, this person can develop this person can die. Any evil that a reasonable man in your profession can easily foresee, why can't you foresee
Prevent
it? Then
it.
why are you trying to be careless? Do you understand? So if you breach that duty of care and it develops to something else for that person, then that medical person is actually going to be,
And
held
responsible.
Like what happened
responsible.
to my what happened to my sister? A baby developed cold, so my sister took her to the hospital. She met a student doctor, and the guy told her that the baby is having pneumonia. My sister was scared. Pneumonia, lungs. The baby is not even up to 1 and all that. So they started buying. They bought all the dogs. They were administering the dog to the girl and blah 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 blah. Until when they now took the baby back, they met a pet, a consultant pet. The doctor now told them that no, nothing is wrong with this
You can
baby.
imagine.
It's just normal cold. The baby wants to
Imagine.
develop teeth, and our own the side
These
effects
are
of
the
the
symptoms
teeth
she's developing.
and all that. And my sister was like, "Excuse me," but
Okay,
somebody
Actually,
told
it led to
me.
something
But-
else, right?
yeah.
And I think one thing we Nigerians we should know that talk out. Don't be scared of.
Yeah.
Yes, just
speak
say it out. Express
Sometimes
yourself.
sometimes some people say, I've consulted one nurse.
Yeah.
What did that nurse say? That's not even, because
Yeah.
I've noticed this thing about medical practice, right? Like, you can't just say you've consulted the person, that person
Yes,
is expert.
yes.
Go and
You
meet
need like
experts.
Specialist.
Yes.
four
So
to
this
five.
person will say something, you can't stomach ache, somebody will say it's menstrual pain, somebody will say, oh, you're developing ulcer, another person will say, are you
Mhm.
do you understand? So they just
Yeah,
come up with all
that's
sort of
true.
things. Then I would like to talk about negligence when it comes to buying products too.
It happens a lot.
Yeah, every manufacturer out there also has a duty of care to their consumers. So it's not right that somebody is buying. There are these cases of people buying Capri Sun
Yes,
and they are
fake.
seeing black
Yes,
substance
it happens. It happens. Yeah.
coming
Like
out
that.
from the Capri Sun. So all these are medical negligence. Now, if you virtually found yourself in a situation of medical negligence, what should you do? The first thing I'll tell you to do is stay calm. Don't get panicked. It's an emotional, situation and all. Be calm, seek medical help immediately, and please make sure you get evidence. You have your phone, begin to snap, compile your evidence so that it will not be your words against their words.
Yes.
Get your evidence, report. If it's a situation that you need to report to the police, report to the police. If you slipped and fall in a company and you have to report to them that this thing is bad, I've slept, another person can come and also, fall. So you should do that. And consult
speak up.
your lawyer.
Yes.
We've mentioned reasons why you should consult a legal practitioner. Don't say it's expensive. Don't
It's
get
never
cheated.
expensive.
It's not. Don't get cheated on your rights. Consult a lawyer, and hopefully you get the compensation that you deserve.
And probably if you probably you got a product from a supermarket that is not good, you can go to Lagos State Consumer Agency. You
Yeah.
invite a petition to them, and they will invite the
Okay.
producer, the company.
Okay,
to
so I think
come.
what you just said now reminds me of what happened about 3 days ago. So my sister got this product, this toilet cleaner product, and upon getting home and opening the product, discovered that it was water. It was so liquid. It wasn't as thick as the original product, and that's the whole bottle branded with everything. And then she had to go back to meet the buyer, and it was like, oh, that she's like the fourth person that will be coming to complain about that particular product. So
You can actually take it up, go to the agency, write a petition against the producer, and the agency will
But actually,
definitely
in that
take
kind
it
of situation, since you said it's a toilet product, right? It has not damaged anyone. Do you understand? Because you have to prove that this person owes you a duty of care and they've breached it and you suffered damage. Do you understand? So if it was a food that you bought and you ate the food, then you suffered, maybe caused a disease or something, and you went to the hospital, you have your doctor's report that you were not like this before, you ate this food on this date and you got this, then you can
Yes,
get your
yes,
compensation.
you're
Well, we
right.
have to bring the show to an end on this at this stage right now. It has been a nice and lovely
Yeah.
time.
Thank you for having
I've learned a lot.
myself too.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Hope you're going to invite us.
Definitely, definitely.
Thank you.
So guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, like, and please drop your comments in the comment section. And don't forget to click on the notification bell button. Thank you. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
God bless.